Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Frugalista here, and I'm going to talk about my favorite full coverage foundations for dry skin, for older skin, mature skin. Yeah, right? So if you're new here, I hope you like what you see. I hope you subscribe and hit that, I don't know, is it a red button? What is it? What is it? Maybe you're on your phone. Yeah, so please subscribe. And if you're just an OG, a regular, welcome. Pull up your seat. Yeah, like I said, my skin type, I'm 47. I am mostly dry, and I have pores, I have discoloration, I have to worry about fine lines, and a little bit of texture. You know, I actually have like moles, kind of like raised moles, or sort of not skin tags, but just kind of things that are part of the landscape of my face that really aren't going anywhere. They're not zits, they're just there. You know, some scarring probably. I mean, it's a face, right? My face, it's just a face. It's like a lot of yas. So I have 5 high-end and 5 drugstore foundations to share with you. I realize I am fully made up, so that's kind of no fun that I'm not going to demonstrate, but I promise to do like an actual video where I go through all the steps. I mean, you know the steps, but you know, where I apply the product, because it's always fun. I think watching full coverage foundation is like so much fun. I feel like full coverage can be very problematic. It can sometimes attract attention to flaws as much as it's supposed to minimize and like cover everything. I feel like sometimes, is it too powdery? Is it too thick? You know, is it kind of, sometimes when it's a full coverage product and the shade isn't quite right, and then it like looks too yellow and it looks kind of like a mask, and you know, I mean, yeah. So in the spirit of trying to just find that holy grail of holy grails, I feel like these foundations are pretty darn good, and they really do well for wearing long wear. And you know, not cakey. Let's start with drugstore. I feel like that's always logical. And also I'm gonna give you guys a couple primers that I love at the moment, because I feel like they do help build the product. I feel as if when we get older and we're working on texture, pores, and fine lines, full coverage doesn't mean just kind of one and done, slap it on kind of thick. Sometimes it means building, and I think even a full coverage foundation, if applied sort of in thin layers, but maybe even 2 coats, can be better, or a primer and then some foundation, and then you're not getting just like cake on. So my first is the Catrice 1 Minute Skin Perfector. I'm really liking this. So I wore it in my T-zone today. It is, it's very creamy. It comes in 1 shade. It's $6.99. We're gonna start here on my arm and just work her way up. So you can see that has like a little tint to it. It doesn't really matter your skin tone because this is transparent and it blends. And so even though it leaves a little bit of tint behind for me, once I put foundation on, it's undetectable, but it just really does kind of have that feeling of dimethicone, that velvety feeling where the foundation just kind of sits on top and does a nice, just like a nice fluffy smoothness. Another one very similar, the number 7. This is the Airbrush Away Tinted Skin Perfector. You could use this just kind of on its own. It does have shades. This is shade light, and it's in the same principle of just kind of, where did we start? Okay, here's the Catrice. So this one's like even a little bit darker. and it has a matte finish to it. It doesn't go anywhere. It just kind of sits on the skin nicely, like a velvet matte finish, but more satin, you know, like it's not drying, and it just feels really good. And it does this kind of like mini, it's like a half foundation. The Goddess Glow Primer, I'm actually wearing this here on my cheeks because this is from the Revolution Pro. This has, look at me, it's like everything has a slight tint to it. This is more yellow, and again, not really detectable under the makeup. Just does a nice job of making the skin feel, you know, luminous and hydrated, and flaws are blurred and that kind of thing, and feels good under foundation. So those are my three those are my three primers that I like for just, you know, no matter the foundation, but those just help the cause. All right, let's start this Cakey. This is the full cover foundation. It's a little different than the Cakey HG foundation. This one has a slight scent, but it has more coverage. I actually think that the Cakey HD foundation is a winner in my book. And I liked this one too. I wish it didn't have a scent. This is shade 30W, which is it's got a little pigment for my skin this time of year, but we're gonna go with it. So the perfect one for me is the 20. The 20 is the perfect Cakey foundation shade. But as you can see, so this is the 30. It is, it's got a lot of coverage. It really blends out. I think I did a foundation featured or like a specific review of this one, and it's good. It's just that damn scent. You guys, this is such a good one. This Infallible by L'Oreal is the Total Cover Foundation. This says it has 24-hour wear. I won't go that far. I'm kind of against the whole 24-hour thing. I know people aren't just like planning on wearing makeup for 24 hours. It's almost like if you had to look amazing and maybe you were taking a plane and then you had a layover and then you had to look good later, and you know. This is shade 302. You can tell it's significantly different in terms of kind of color scheme and undertone, even pigmentation. Like this has a lot more yellow and just a lot more, yeah. But this one, what I like about it is it wears really well. It's matte, it's good for all skins. So they do have the Pro Matte, and then they have the Infinity, the Glow. They have, I know the Glow has denatured alcohol. I used to love that stuff. And then I looked at the label and I'm like, oh crap. Because anytime I use denatured alcohol even in a makeup product, not just a skincare, but it really does just it wreaks havoc on my skin. Despite emollients, because some people can say, well, if there's enough emollients in there, it should counteract it, but it doesn't. It still upsets the balance of my skin. So anyway, I really do like this L'Oreal one. It's good. This one, you guys, I'm mentioning it because I feel like it's very popular. It's drugstore, so it's affordable. It comes in a ton of shades. Milani Conceal and Perfect is kind of a holy grail drugstore. This is shade 00B. So this is going to be kind of funny in terms of the difference in shades. So this is so thick. It's so thick. It's super creamy, but it covers really well. And it does wear beautifully. It really does. I just can't seem to make it work for me. And it's kind of a shade thing. It's bizarre. Isn't this funny how, why do I have all these different shades of foundation? I mean, well, because I guess I like to mix and experiment and guess, but anyhow, I just think it's funny. And then the Maybelline 24-hour, another 24-hour, this one is the oh gosh, I forget what it's called. The Super Stay. This is the Super Stay. I actually really like the Fit Me one, you know, but that's kind of more of a medium, kind of a satin, kind of middle of the road type foundation, where we want, if we're looking for coverage, and what shade did I grab in this one? This is the 112. It's gonna be a little light. Okay, but this one, again, I think my foundation featured, I think it was pretty good. So this one, look at that. It's so similar to the Milani. Sorry about my blue nails. I took off my blue nail polish and then it just left like a residue. So funny. Anyway, but this foundation, this Maybelline foundation, is long wearing, and I'll let you guys see a little. I mean, my arm is so well matched, don't you think? But the Maybelline one, it kind of dries down to a powder. Don't powder it a ton. Same with the Cakey. You don't really need to powder it. If you want to put your foundation on and then just let it go, it will, it kind of self-sets in my opinion. But I have dry skin versus oily, so yeah. What am I wearing today? Surprisingly, you are going to, I think you're going to be surprised, because I don't even know if I've fully reviewed this, but I bought it because it was highly rated on Beautypedia. Then I forgot I had it. But I actually bought it on accident because I wanted a different formula. Okay, it's the Urban Decay All-Nighter Longwear Waterproof Foundation. Like I said, I had no intention of buying this. It was really weird. It like kind of just, I know I bought it, but I picked it out. I was reaching for something else. Okay, this is shade 3.0. This is long wearing, full coverage, and you know, it's Urban Decay, so it has a really good shade range. And honestly, so yeah, this is what I'm wearing, and it's nice. I put it on with a stipple brush like this. I kind of flick it all over the face, and then I just kind of let it be. And then I take my blender of some kind, whether it's the Blendiful or Beauty Blender, and I just kind of, you know, work it out, push it out, and let it go. And let it just kind of sit there. Because I don't want to, I want to powder, but I don't want to put too much powder, because then we get into the cakey situation. Refer to my giving up powder video. I can link that. Okay, so that is the Urban Decay. I know, right? Another one I sort of I'm acclimating myself with and reacquainting myself and saying, oh, hi, how's it going? Haven't seen you since high school. This is the Becca Ultimate Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. I see a pattern. This shade is Sand. It definitely goes on light. I love the pump. It's Becca foundation. So, you know, some of the Becca products are problematic and some of them are fabulous. And it's so weird because some of them will have just like one ingredient that's a rosacea trigger, and then everything else is great, or and then there's some that fit all that check all the boxes. And I'm like, yes, please. So this one, I find that when I apply it, I want to do the same thing. Is I want to like flick it around with a stipple brush, and then I want to just kind of let it be, and I want to blend it and kind of push it in the skin and take the Beauty Blender and get it around. And sometimes that even lifts up like a little bit of residue from the surface. And then I do the powder very thinly. But this one also just kind of sits and it's good. So you can see the difference of the shade. This one's a little more warm on my skin. You have to kind of, oh, I love this one, you guys. I really fell in love with this one around, I want to say it was like December, Christmas time. The Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Hydrating. So again, it has a fragrance, so kind of a bummer, but this one is beautiful. It is long wear. It is full coverage. It really does hydrate. This is shade 190. So I have the matte one too, which is beautiful. But for me and my dry skin, to have full coverage that has a hydration to it, because I really feel like the pigment just kind of just adheres to the skin, and you know, you don't have to worry from when you're dry like me. You can have the benefit of like, oh look, it's full coverage and it kind of sets, but not, yeah. Like, because luminous makeup is fabulous and all, but sometimes it doesn't either have long wear or sometimes it doesn't have the coverage. So it's tricky. Whereas I think this nails it. I am mentioning the Smashbox one. Now, if you guys, you know, any of you out there who are like, but when you did your foundation featured, you kind of complained. And I mean, I kind of did. I know it wasn't perfect, but this foundation has no triggers in terms of sensitive skin. It is full coverage, 24-hour, lots of shades. I got shade 2.15, made in Belgium. Gosh. So you can get your chocolates, you can get your foundation. And I think this is, it's funny, I'm using it on my hand where I feel like this can be almost, you have to work quick. It does not need powder. You can put it on, it will stay put. It doesn't move. But if you are dry, you need to prep the skin. So definitely primer, and then even like a drop of oil, any kind of complexion oil, yeah, with it, beautiful. Or you can like add it to a foundation that doesn't have very much coverage. So I want to say that despite it's kind of, you know, it's a little high maintenance, it's a beautiful product. And I know people who swear by it. And I mean, there's always going to be the people who don't like something or who love something. And, you know, but I think this has more loves than dislikes. And then last but not least, this one's a weird one because I bought it at Christmas time. It was on clearance. This Stellar Limitless Foundation is right now on sale at Sephora for $19. It's been like this for a long time. Stephanie Marie said because she recommended it and she had heard from the company that they are not discontinuing it. So I don't really know what's going on. It's the identical bottle to the Huda Beauty foundation, which is good. Just very thick and has a fragrance. This Stellar foundation is kind of amazing, pretty stellar. It's thinner, I'm gonna show you. It's thinner, so not every shade, there are shades sold out. So it's a little tricky. It's like, oh yay, you are tempting us and we don't have a whole lot. But the thing about this foundation that sort of sets it apart is that, well, I feel like a little goes a long way. It really kind of is the same shade as the Smashbox, maybe also as it's like a little bit in between. The Becca one is still the lightest, and then this one's a good shade though for me. Anyway, I think I told you guys about this. I want to say I might have used it in a video. It's a satin finish. It's got really good coverage. It's buildable, and it's a sophisticated foundation. It has that kind of staying power with the pigment so that, you know, with full coverage, it doesn't move. It's there for good. Don't need a ton of powder if you're dry like me. And yeah, you know, but it's nice, and I don't know what's going on with it. And then for just a little bit of a side note, I am wearing the Fenty concealer in shade 170. Awesome concealer, full coverage, and I have a slight dusting of Makeup Forever pressed powder. You guys saw this in a previous video. It's beautiful. Those are my kind of those top 10 full coverage, both drugstore and high-end foundations. I will list everything below. Fingers crossed there's good shade selection. And, I hate that. There you go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was fun and helpful for you. And I'll list everything that's on my face as well if I remember, in case you guys ask me about my lipstick or my eyeshadow. And that's everything. Wash your hands. Stay 6 feet away from people. And leave me a comment and I will see you next time. Bye.